Star Fox is an arcade-style rail shooter and space flight simulator that took the world by storm and is considered one of the best video games of all time. It sold more than 4 million copies and cemented its stay as a flagship Nintendo franchise. One of my viewers told me I should play it, and I must say, I was curious. I didn't have a Super Nintendo growing up because I was a Sega boy, so I missed out on this game. I was a big fan of Star Fox 64, but I wanted to find out if the OG Star Fox was still good. I figured I could give a good subjective opinion on a game that I wasn't nostalgic for, so that's what I'm going to do today. There are 3 different paths to take on the level select screen. Each one is harder than the last. For the sake of my first impressions, I want to play through the entire easy path, which is actually anything but. The first thing I notice when I start the game off are these very polygonal graphics, which for me aren't really a problem. One of my favorite games on the 32X was Shadow Squadron, which looks fairly similar. The second thing that I notice is the very choppy cutscene as the R-Wings fly out of the base. I got a bit nervous when I saw this. Then the music kicks on, and it is awesome. As I fly through the first level of Corneria, which I recognize from Star Fox 64, I notice these little white dots on the ground, which really help me to stay oriented with where I am in relation to the surrounding level. I also like how you can see your wingmen throughout the levels. Star Fox 64 had this, but I was impressed that this was in the OG as well. You may have to help them if they have a bandit on their tail, and also be aware of everything you're shooting at. Sorry, Peppy. Finally, we come to our first boss. He's a giant ship which shoots missiles and launches fighters. He's a pretty simple first boss, and yet I died a few times due to carelessness. Just shoot at all the glowy bits while dodging and you'll eventually destroy it. Which leads to another gripe of mine. When the boss blows up, the screen starts flashing very brightly, which is kind of annoying to look at. People who have epilepsy should look away after defeating a boss. The second level is an asteroid belt. There's nothing too groundbreaking here, but I always enjoy flying around space, so I'm not complaining, except for Slippy getting in my way. The boss of the area isn't too hard. Just shoot the glowy bits and avoid projectiles. This time, however, the glowy spots shoot lasers at you and are much smaller than the first bosses. Tear him up, and then it's on to level 3. Time to take on Andros Space Fleet Armada. I really enjoy these giant warships. They remind me of the Imperial space destroyers from the Star Wars franchise. Flying inside these giant ships is a cool feeling. It's claustrophobic and feels like the Death Star trench run from, yep, you guessed it, Star Wars. You've got to blow up the core, and it's back out to space we go. Finally, we get to the mothership. We've got to fly inside this behemoth and destroy its core. But this one is much bigger, and that's our boss fight. I enjoyed this fight very much. I felt like I was in a giant washing machine. Shoot the 3 glowy spots on the walls that emit power to the core. And then once all 3 are destroyed, the core will be revealed. Knock it out, and this time, no blinking lights, thank goodness. Thanks, Star Fox. Now we find ourselves on the Battle Base Meteor. This level is no joke, let me tell you. First we are greeted with these 2 bipod robots, and I'm not gonna lie, I got a little excited. I love giant robots. This is a really cool level. However, the lack of a good draw distance really hurts here. Look at how much time I have to react to this mountain. If you've never played this level before, you really have no idea what's coming up and you don't have much time to react. I still love the level design, however, and I don't find these small faults overly frustrating. Finally, we get to the boss. which is a giant robot spider. At first, I wasn't sure what I was trying to accomplish. But the legs were flashing, so I just kept shooting. Eventually, it turns sideways and comes at you. Just keep shooting what were the legs, and they'll start to fall off. Now he'll begin shooting lava, and then from out of the lava, fireballs start flying at you. This boss took me a few tries, but I eventually got him. Oh, and unfortunately, when you beat the boss, the flashing lights are back. Now we take part in a giant space battle above Venom. This level's pretty tough, but not too bad. The boss is a strange ship that can create decoys of itself, and you have to shoot the right one. It's tough, but I eventually get it. Now we arrive at Venom, which means our journey is nearly complete. The aesthetic here is nice. I love the dark, gloomy clouds in the background, and the green glow which emanates from the planet. I can't help but hit these big swinging walls which take half your health. If you shoot them, they will turn direction, but my brain can't comprehend fast enough, so I hit them anyways. This level is full of stuff that just flies in your way, and it's up to you to avoid taking damage. I'm assuming these things fly around because Andros is using his telekinesis ability, otherwise it wouldn't make any sense. Finally, we face off against the ship that we fought above Venom. This time, he morphs into some sort of giant robot, which bounces around and is kind of annoying. He takes a lot of damage, however, but luckily I have plenty of bombs, which really come in handy against this guy. Take him down, and now it's on to Andros. Now that we're inside, we fly through a narrow corridor full of traps while Andros flaps his gums at us. Finally, we've made it to the final boss, Andros himself. The imagery here reminds me of Lawnmower Man. I really like this fight. It's what I remember from Star Fox 64. After shooting the eyes, you expose the core brain. Take it down, and that's the easy path complete. I'm glad there's still 2 more paths to go through. If there was only one path, the game would feel a bit short. You can beat this path in under 30 minutes if you're really good. So even though Star Fox has a few issues, I could recommend this game to anyone who's interested in this genre. The gameplay is still solid. If you can look past the dated graphics, you have an amazing game here. There's a good amount of level variety and a lot of creativity to keep this game fresh. All the bosses are unique and are fun to master. Well guys, thanks for watching my first impressions video. What do you think of Star Fox? Do you still love this game after 30 years? As always guys, take care of yourself and take care of others. I'll see you next time.